How did people more than 2,200 years ago build a structure that remained the tallest on Earth after the pyramids for centuries? Imagine you're the captain of a ship, the 3rd century BC. Nothing but darkness. Waves crash against the hull. Egypt's coastline is hidden in the night. One mistake, and your ship will be smashed against the rocks. Then, a light appears on the horizon, high above the sea. So high that it can be seen from dozens of kilometers away. That light guides you to the greatest city of the ancient world, Alexandria. But this is where the mystery begins. How did people over 2,000 years ago build a tower that became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world? 332 BC. Alexander the Great enters Egypt. He wants to build a new city, not just a port, not just a fortress, but the capital of a future empire. That city becomes Alexandria. After Alexander's death, a new ruler takes power, Ptolemy I Soter. Very quickly, a problem appears. The city keeps growing. More and more ships arrive every year, but Alexandria's coastline is dangerous. Hidden reefs, sandbanks, fog. Every year, ships are lost. The city needs a landmark, not an ordinary one. The greatest lighthouse the world has ever seen. Around 280 BC, construction begins. Pharos was chosen for a reason. Not by chance, but because of geography, strategy, and ambition. The island of Pharos lay directly in front of Alexandria, guarding one of the safest entrances into its harbor. That was its greatest advantage. It formed a natural shield, protecting the harbor from the open sea, powerful waves, and violent storms. Without it, Alexandria's harbor would have been far more dangerous. But even more importantly, every ship sailing toward Alexandria had to pass right beside the island. That made Pharos the perfect place for navigation, surveillance, and control, which is exactly why the lighthouse was built there. Not as a monument, but as a necessity. The Egyptian coastline here was treacherous. Shallow waters, hidden rocks, frequent fog, especially at night. A towering beacon wasn't a luxury. It was a matter of survival for one of the busiest ports in the ancient world. And this reveals the true purpose of Pharos. Under Alexander the Great and later under Ptolemy I, Alexandria was meant to become the capital of knowledge, trade, and a symbol of a new age. Pharos stood at the gateway, watching over every ship entering this rapidly growing metropolis. It wasn't simply an island, it was a natural fortress, a navigation hub, and the strategic gateway to one of the most important cities of the ancient world. Which is why one of the 7 wonders wasn't built inside the city, but at its front door. Soon, this tower of light would guide sailors through the darkness and lead us to Alexandria's next great mystery. The island became so famous that its name, Pharos, eventually gave rise to the word lighthouse in many languages. The architect is believed to have been Sostratus of Cnidus. But another fascinating story begins here. According to legend, Ptolemy II Philadelphus ordered that only the king's name should appear on the lighthouse, but Sostratus secretly carved his own name beneath a layer of plaster. Years later, the plaster fell away, revealing the true builder's name. Historians still debate whether the story is true, but the legend has survived for more than 2,000 years. Modern estimates place the lighthouse between 100 and 120 meters tall. That's roughly the height of a modern 30 to 40-story building, built in the 3rd century BC, out of stone, without cranes, without engines, without modern machinery. The lighthouse had 3 levels, a square base, an octagonal middle section, and a circular tower at the top. A fire burned constantly at its summit. By day, sailors followed the smoke. By night, the flames. But this is where the greatest mystery begins. Medieval writers describe an enormous mirror at the top of the lighthouse. So powerful, they claimed, that it could spot ships beyond the horizon. Some legends go even further. They say the mirror could burn enemy ships. using nothing but concentrated sunlight. It sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Most historians consider this story a myth, but the mirror itself may have been real. Highly polished bronze could indeed reflect and amplify the lighthouse's light, making it visible from much greater distances. Which raises another question. If the lighthouse was so strong, what destroyed it? Not an army, not fire, not a siege, earthquakes. The first major one struck in AD 956. More destruction followed in 1303, then another devastating earthquake in 1323. Each time, the tower lost part of its height. Each time, people tried to rebuild it. But eventually, nature won. By the 15th century, the lighthouse had become a ruin. In 1480, Sultan Qaitbay used its stones to build a fortress. It seems like the story ends there, but it doesn't. In 1994, underwater archaeologists began exploring Alexandria's harbor. They discovered enormous stone blocks, columns, statues, fragments of the ancient tower. The remains of one of the seven wonders. It finally confirmed what ancient writers had described. The Lighthouse of Pharos had truly existed, almost exactly as history remembered it. It outlived the Roman Empire. It outlived the Library of Alexandria. It survived countless dynasties. For more than 1,500 years, it guided sailors safely home. Yet today, almost nothing remains. Only its foundations beneath Fort Qaitbay and scattered ruins beneath the sea. Modern visitors see the fortress. The lighthouse itself survives only through archaeology, digital reconstructions, and 3D models. And yet, every time we look at a modern lighthouse, we are looking at the descendant of the tower that once illuminated the entire ancient world. But while sailors followed the light of Pharos, just a few kilometers away, scholars were trying to gather all the knowledge of humanity in one place. There stood another legend of Alexandria, the most famous library in history, the Library of Alexandria. Subscribe, because in the next episode, you'll discover what was truly lost, along with its scrolls.